Hey, what's up, everybody? You are listening to the Brent Mukai podcast. My name is Brent Mukai, voice actor, improv trainer, entertainer, in that order, I guess. I am I don't know. I haven't done the podcast in a week, and I've already forgotten how to do the podcast. That's fine. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Okay, I'm a little out of sorts today for a good reason. I actually, in another 3 hours from now, it's 4 o'clock. So 4 or 5, yeah. In 3 hours from now, officially, I will be meeting a girl for a date. I know. And this is special to me because I have not had a date in 2 years. I thought about it. I was like, holy shit, it's been 2 years. 2 fucking years since I've had a date. 2 years. That's over 700 days, ladies and gentlemen. I did the math real quick. Not well. I just knew it was above 700, but you see my point. To put it in context, the last time I had a date was before Donald Trump was president. That's a simpler time. A simpler time for sure. So yeah, I figured I'd just talk about that because I've got a lot of stuff going on mentally. I guess first of all, why? Why have I not gone out on a date in 2 years? That's a solid question. I know people that can't go on being single for like fucking 20 minutes, let alone 2 years. 2 years, that's a lot. I gotta stop fixating on that number. Because like then I'll start getting intimidated and start getting scared and shit. But yeah, like it's been really weird. It's been strange. The fact that it's been that long. But why is the question? Well, the last girl that I dated, I had met her online. It was cool. We hung out. Things went really well. Things actually went really well. I thought she was very funny. She was very crass, which I kind of enjoyed. And she was weird, which I liked too. I won't mention her name. Let's call her Jessica. Her name is Jessica now. So I went out with Jessica. Things were going okay. There was a little weird stuff that that were like weird warning signs to me. Like she moved it very fast along. And when I say that, I mean like she dropped the L-bomb in like 2 weeks, which freaked me out a little bit because I wasn't there yet. I mean, it would have been different if I was there, but I don't think that, I don't know. I got the idea that she didn't really, this wasn't something that was, it sounds shitty. Anyway, I break it down. What I'm ultimately saying is I feel like she moved fast in every relationship. I didn't feel like it was the fact that it was me that changed it. And I felt like she did that a lot. Like it was just typical for her to like be like, yes, okay, cool. We're dropping L-bombs now. I'm in love with you. You know, I love you. Like 2 weeks in, it just felt that way. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe she was over the stars about me, and maybe it's just my own fucking self-worth issues or whatever. That's my own self-image issues. But yeah, that's definitely where it felt like it was at. I could be 100% wrong, but I believe that's where I was at. Anyways, we're going like things like that. Things like she introduced me to her mom, and her mom was bipolar, and it was kind of weird. It was just like, this is tough because on one hand, her mom was like cool. Like her mom was cool, but she had like a very weird relationship with her mom where like she didn't like hanging out with her mom, but she kept hanging out with her mom, and then she invited her mom to come out with us on Halloween. And I was like, if your mom is giving you this much stress, if it's stressing you out, why are you inviting her? And she was like, well, she asked, and I knew that if I said no, then it would cause all these issues. And like, that's an issue to me. That's like a red flag. That's a bit of a red flag to me, because I'm sitting there like, oh my God, like, if you're not going to say no to her now, like, is this going to be like an upcoming issue that keeps on happening, that she's just going to keep on coming out with? Now, again, a lot of these fears probably more so just me looking into it too hard, staring into the face of it too much. But like, I'm picky. I'm very picky when it comes to women. Anyways, sorry, I'm off topic with Jessica. So with Jessica, things were going well. It was going okay. I liked her. I wasn't at that point. We went out for probably about a month, and then that's when we had we didn't have an issue. I had an issue because my grandmother was 102 at the time. She was 102 years old. She was kind of going as a 102-year-old, people do. At 100, she was still pretty fine, pretty okay. I hadn't seen her since 100, since her 100th year birthday party, which was really cool. So I hadn't seen her for a couple years. And my mom was the primary caretaker of my grandmother. And then my mom had an accident. She tripped, she fell, she broke her leg. So my mom broke her leg. She was the primary caretaker of my grandmother. And they're at the point where they're like, well, we're going to hire somebody to come in and help out with, grandma, with mom and all that stuff. So I got the call. And and they said, we thought about it, and we thought, if we're going to pay all this money, because it's a lot of money to have like a caretaker come over and do all of these things and be on staff, we're going to pay all this money to do it. Why don't you just come home and you can help out with all of this stuff, and we can pay you what we would have paid the caretaker. And at the time I was unemployed. I had gigs. I had gigs going on, so like it wasn't a humongous deal. Exactly. It wasn't like a super humongous big deal. But yeah, they were like, help out for a few months, like until mom's back up on her feet in January. Or actually it was supposed to be December, but they were like, if you're going to be home, you might as well stay for the holidays. And I was like, okay, cool. So it was crazy. It was crazy. It was a crazy time because I had just quit a job doing telemarketing that I had grown to hate. Not because I hated telemarketing at all. It wasn't bad. Didn't pay bad. It was just the fact that I had a graveyard shift and it was killing me. It was seriously killing me to do that. So I'd quit that job. I was doing wedding DJing at the time, doing comedy still, doing stand-up, doing all that stuff, making, ancillary income however I could. When that sort of kind of happened. And so, because all of that happened at that time, I said, you know what? The only thing that's really holding me back right now, not holding me back, that's a shitty way of putting it, but it was. The only thing that would have grounded me to Vegas was this girl that I was dating. And I thought about it, and I said, you know what? I want to see my grandmother. She's 102. Everybody's telling me that she probably doesn't have much time left. If I don't take this opportunity, I'm going to fucking regret it. So I went back home to Hawaii to go help my mom, to help my grandmother, until they were back up, until my mom was literally back up on her feet, and so I got there. And here's the weird, crazy part. I got back to Hawaii 2 days before the election, 2 days before Election Day. I know, here, I'm jumping all over the place because I'm trying to remember it. So I'm... Oh, God. Okay, so this is how I broke up with this girl. I had already resigned to the fact that I was like, I don't want a long distance thing. I don't want to be gone for 3 months. I don't want to do all this. Plus, I have some issues already that I'm seeing. So maybe this is all just working out. It's the universe telling me something, right? And I'll check with her and see how she feels. So I'm on my way to go help her out and go help her because she had just moved into a new place. I had helped her move also, which, you know, like when you start dating somebody and then they're like, oh, I'm about to move. I'm like, did you really start dating me because of that? Or did you just want a guy to be here when you started moving? I'm just fucking around. But that would be such a funny ulterior motive where, like, after she's finished moving, she's just like, okay, cool. This really isn't just working out, you know? I have a friend who I was looking through. She made the mistake of handing me her phone, and I was like, oh my God, you're on Tinder? Because she's real young. And she was like, yeah, you know. I was like, I can't believe that. I didn't think that you would be the type. And she was like, well, if I'm being honest, I just want guys to get me some food. I just want some good food, and I want to go out and have guys treat me to good food. And I was like, okay, cool. You're young, you're pretty. That works. I get it. If I was a girl, I'd be doing this same thing. I don't judge. I don't fucking judge. I'd be doing this same shit. If I was broke and I was good looking and I was young and I was a girl, I would totally be on dating websites just being like, is this guy gonna murder me? No? Okay, let's go to Cafe Rio or whatever. I love Cafe Rio. Oh my God, I love Cafe Rio. So anyways, yes. So I'm on my way to go help her get settled in, because now she's already moved in and she needs some help putting up shelves and all this shit and whatever. And she texts me beforehand, and I'm going over and I'm basically gonna help her out with her shelves and stuff, and then be like, hey, you know, I need to talk. We need to talk. You know, before I get over there, she texts me and says, I'm hungry. Let's go to Taco Bell. Which, another cool thing, cool chick. She loved Taco Bell. She was always like, yeah, let's just fucking go. It's cheap as fuck, you know. I can treat you. You can treat me. We don't lose our fucking money. And I was like, oh, this is a cool girl. Anyways, she was really good. I liked her a lot. Jessica was great. So we go to Taco Bell, and I'm just like thinking about it, obviously. Like, but I am resigned, and I'm like, I am not going to fucking break up with a girl in Taco Bell. I am fucking not. I'm going to wait. We're going to eat our food. We're going to go back to her place. And then we're going to fucking, you know, and then I'll tell her and do all that stuff, right? And I didn't want to do it over the phone either, you know? So, oh God, I'm getting heartbroken just talking about it. So we're in Taco Bell. I'm sipping on a Diet Mountain Dew or whatever the fuck you drink at Taco Bell. She's got her Baja Blast. And God, and we're chatting, we're doing our thing. I'm a pretty good actor, I think. So we're just doing our thing. But she notices something is wrong. She's very empathic in that way. And she was like, what's wrong? You seem like you got something on your mind. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, fuck. It's a catch-22 right here. Do I fucking lie and say there's nothing on my mind and then wait to go back to her house because I don't want to break up with a girl in Taco Bell? Or do I be completely honest and then tell her that I will help her? You know what I mean? Like, it's just a shitty situation. But she says it, and so I say, okay, I gotta be honest. I gotta fucking be honest. So I tell her, look, here's the situation. My grandma is dying. My mom broke her leg. They offered to let me come back and pay me to be back in Hawaii to do all this shit for X amount of time, and I'm not looking to do a long distance thing. And she says immediately, yeah, I'm not looking to do a long distance thing either. But I can tell that she's sad. Man, I can tell that she's sad. Which, oh yeah, it sucks. And so then we're talking and we're chilling and we're trying to joke and do whatever. And she says, hey, why did you bring that up to me here? And I said, well, I was not going to, but then you asked me, and then I was in a shitty position where I wasn't sure if I was going to tell you, so I figured I'd just tell you because you asked. And then she was like, why would you come over to my house and do that? And I was like, I didn't want to leave you hanging, so I'm still like, it's up to you now. If you would like, I can still come over and help you out with the shelves. I have no problem with that. We can chill. Like, I don't leave for another couple days. We can hang out still, or, you know, we could just cut it off here. It's up to you. And she's like, no, that's fine. Yeah, just why don't you come over? And I was like, okay, cool. So we leave in separate cars because we had met there. And she's like, oh my God. Like, she sends me a text, and it's right around the corner from the Taco Bell. So, like, by the time she's in the taco, like, within 5 minutes of us leaving the Taco Bell, she texts me and says, you know what? Don't come over. Like, I can't deal with this. I don't think it's gonna be good for me. I thought that it would, but it's gonna hurt too much. So I was like, oh shit. Just broke up with a girl in the Taco Bell. And that was the last time I saw her. The last time I saw that girl was in the Taco Bell. I got back. Man, I never wanted to be the guy who fucking dumped a girl in a place where you can buy a taco whose main ingredients is potatoes for $1. Like, I never thought I would be the type of guy who would break up with a girl in a Pepsi establishment, you know? Like, I'm trying to make light of it now because I feel bad thinking about it. But, I mean, she was super cool. She was super nice. I liked her a lot. Few issues, but overall, yeah, great person. If I saw her on the street, I'd say hi. I'd give her a hug. I'd say, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. And she was so sweet. She was super sweet because she, even after we had broken up, I was back in Hawaii. And here's where this story takes a weird turn because I get to Hawaii 2 days before Election Day. I get there. Donald Trump gets elected. And that night, my grandmother passes away. My grandma passes away 2 days in. So the whole reason why I had come back to Hawaii, or, 75% of the reason was already done by the time that I got home. I got to see her. I got to see she was not doing well. I mean, she was 102. You know what I mean? Like, she was doing well for a 102-year-old, but that's still not very well, you know? So she passed. She passed in her sleep. It was all good. Not good. Good's not the right answer. But my point is, even after it happened, I made a long Facebook post, you know. I put it out, and Jessica commented on it, and, you know, or she messaged me privately and said, hey, you know, I just saw this post. I'm sorry to hear about that. Hope you're doing okay. So yeah, it ended really nice, on both notes, because she sent me that very nice message, and we kind of got to have a little bit of closure that way, I guess. And, I got to see my grandmother before she passed away. So I mean, God, you know, I believe everything happens for a reason. I truly do. I don't believe in God necessarily. I'm agnostic. I believe that there's a higher power. I believe that there's a guiding force, if you will. There's, you know, the secret and all that shit. I believe in that. I believe that I'm spiritual, not religious, and I believe that there's something out there that is looking out for us, if we choose to believe it. If we choose to see the signs that everything happens for a reason. And I haven't always believed that. I didn't grow up thinking that. In fact, I grew up thinking that everything happened for no reason and that the world was chaos. I truly felt that way. However, in my formative years, I sort of started looking at the worst parts of my life, and started realizing that they were the moments that defined who I was going to be and who I was going to become, and that I liked the person that I was because of those reasons. And I'm so grateful. Like, I am so grateful I got to go home, see my grandmother again, see all my old friends, see hang out with my mom and my sister and my family as an adult, because, you know, I take like a week and a half trip back every once in a while, but spending 3 months back as an adult now, like, I'm 26, you know, I was 27 at the time. So I had not had that. I left when I was 17 years old. So I was still a kid when I left, still, you know, coming back and getting a chance to hang out with all those people as an adult, all these people that I felt like were just like too old or didn't understand or all that shit. Just, it gave me a lot of great, crazy perspective. Anyways, that brings me to now. That was the last date that I went on. That was the last girl that I dated. And now, I mean, I've been talking about it. I've been talking about, you know, if you listen to the first episode of this podcast, I begin with, I'm 29 years old now. And I'm starting to think about my life, and I'm starting to look at the things that are happening and the things that are going on. And it's weird because this whole year, the past year, I started and did this and became this guy, became voice actor, improv trainer, entertainer. Before then, I was like Brent. Sometimes I do improv and whatever, and I do all this other shit, but I have a day job, right? I was that guy, Brent. And now I've fully committed to this, and I kept thinking like, I gotta focus on my business. I gotta focus on this shit that I'm doing. I gotta really get my shit together. I mean, all the shit that I've been talking about in the last few weeks. And then it hit me, and I was like, because of all of that, I was starting to overlook things like dating, like these little things, and I don't know what it was ultimately. I can't remember why, but I signed back up on to OkCupid, which is the dating app that I used. I actually paid money. For the first time, I paid money for their, see who likes you and all that shit, all that garbage, because I was like, let me put a little bit of an investment into this. Let me just put a tiny bit of investment and see what comes of this. And I don't think it's even been a week, but I got a date out of it, and that's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. Me and this girl have been talking for the last couple days over text. Like, she gave me her number and all of that stuff, and I get to meet her tonight. And she seems really fun, actually. Like, the conversation, actually flows really well. Like, it's tough for me sometimes with texts, and especially it sucks with text because I feel like over texting, you both need to be good conversationalists to keep a text thread going. Because if one person's not, and they just stop texting, then the other person can't just keep fucking texting. You know what I mean? In a conversation, sometimes it can go, live conversation, you can go like 60-40% for somebody who's more introverted, but that doesn't work over texts. Like, you both need to have a vested interest in the other person, or at least some topic that we're talking about that can keep the text going. And I have that. I have this text rapport with this girl. I guess is what we can call it. Text rapport. We're going to go see a movie. We're going to grab some coffee beforehand. And I'm excited. It's cool that I get to log this, and I get to log this journey with this. I mean, maybe this is just one date and it goes awful, and then next week I'm just like, well, fucking on to the next one or whatever. But maybe this goes really well. Maybe it goes super well, and I find my soulmate, and I can listen back to this like in 30 years and be like, holy shit, I talked about that date where I met the woman I would marry. That's weird. That's weird to me, but it's not. So I'm glad I'm doing this podcast because I'm getting a chance to explore. Here are the main things that I'm thinking about tonight. One, I'm hoping that it goes well, obviously. I'm hoping that I can be myself, and I don't let the fact that it's been a while since I've dated get in the way at all. Like, have any type of weird bearing over any of the shit that's going on. As long as I can avoid that context of it, I think I'll be fine. Because I'm a decent conversationalist. I know how to talk. I know how to listen. I feel like I'm at this point where I'm me. Like, I'm still evolving, but I'm just evolving in me. But I know what that means, and I know who I am and who I am, but more importantly, I know who I'm not. And I can figure out, I can navigate that part of it. Whereas before, I've always a lot of times had trouble figuring out, who am I? Like that age-old question, who am I? Now that I'm getting older, I feel like I'm starting to settle in and understand. Maybe not settle in, just I'm starting to understand the things that make me tick, the things that motivate me. And yeah. Am I nervous? Yes. I am. Why? Why, people say? Why? Fuck you. If you don't know why I'm nervous going out on a date, then you have tricked yourself into believing that you're not nervous anymore. Or you're at a point where you've dated so much that it's just like second nature to you. It's not that for me. This is something new, If you've never public, if you've never done improv before and you go up on stage, it's going to be nerve-wracking. Me, I can go up now. It's not as nerve-wracking. I can get through it. I understand it. But I still think that there's still a little bit of that tension no matter what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, no matter who you're going to see or what's going to happen. Like, it's that little element of I don't know what's going to happen that keeps it interesting. And that's my favorite part of the improv stuff. This is kind of different format today. I know I usually talk about like 3 things and I'm just like boom, boom, bang. Here it is. I'm glad I got to just explore this because I haven't really told a lot of people. Like, I went on to a Scoop Group, which I'm sure a lot of you are transplants over from Matt and Mattingly's Ice Cream Social. I keep fucking plugging those guys because I love them and I think that they are amazing human beings. And go listen to their podcast if you haven't already. If you enjoy this podcast and you are not a fan already of Matt and Mattingly's Ice Cream Social, you're gonna fucking love them. They are absolutely insane and absolutely honest and absolutely everything that you would want from a podcast. So please go ahead and listen to them. But their community is amazing. And I am lucky enough to be a part of that community. So I threw out like all of these things and all of these feelings. But that's really the only people I've shared this with. I haven't talked to a lot of people about it. I've talked to a couple, maybe. But this isn't like I don't go out and brag about shit. Like, I didn't put out like a Facebook, Twitter, Instagram blast about all this. You know what I mean? Like, I put it out on a secret community group of people that I know are cool. Also who are mostly strangers or acquaintances of that nature that I barely know. So, there's less pressure, weirdly, in doing that. 100 acquaintances and talking about some personal stuff is easier to me, I think, than telling, like, just bringing it up randomly to a few people that I know. So there's that. Yes. So let's see how it goes. Let's do all this stuff. My one of my listeners from the very beginning, Thomas Bailey, shout-outs, told me he liked last week when I did my Chili's advertisement. So I figured every week I'll do an advertisement for a new place. I had Cafe Rio earlier today, which is why I was thinking about it. I fucking love Cafe Rio. So here is my complete and totally free, totally not sponsored. But if you work at Cafe Rio and you're the owner of Cafe Rio, if you're Johnny Rio or whoever the fuck invented Cafe Rio, then please hit me up. Let's make some fucking advertising magic. Also, if you have a business of any kind, you need some voiceover, let me know. I can be your guy. Here is my Cafe Rio fucking improvised commercial. I just looked it up on my phone. All right, let's go. Hey, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, man, I wish that I had some food that wasn't quite Brazilian and wasn't quite Mexican. I know, me too. What could you possibly get? That's the question. What possible restaurant is not quite Brazilian and not quite Mexican? Boy, do I have the answer for you. It's Cafe Rio. That's right, Cafe Rio, where they hand slice more than 56,000 avocados a week, where they're dicing more than 46,000 tomatoes on the daily, where they're squeezing more than 119,000 limes on the weekly. Cafe Rio. Now, go ahead, go in, see how delicious it is. They got sweet pork, and that's not a sex joke. Go ahead and sign into My Rio Rewards on the Apple Store or Google Play. Also, let us cater your next fiesta, whatever that may be. If you don't know what a fiesta is, go fuck yourself. You uncultured swine. Make every meal a masterpiece. Stay in the loop. Get your news and offers. Subscribe to our mail letter. We are Cafe Rio. We love meats, avocados, tomatoes, nothing else. So come on in today and try our new Fideo Mexican pasta, topped with Monterey Jack cheese, fire-grilled steak or chicken, pico de gallo, and sour cream. Mexican pasta? Mamma mia, that's Mexican. Cafe Rio, Mexican grill with a place from Brazil. Thanks for coming. You want some? Is your mouth watering? Is your mouth watering with Cafe Rio goodness? Anyways, thank you so much for listening. I super fucking appreciate it. If you enjoy this podcast, then please go ahead, find me on Facebook, and go ahead and like my page, because my page has gotten 0 new likes in the last 28 days. I would love for some Facebook love. Follow me on Instagram or Twitter at Brent Mukai, BrentMukai, and keep up with all of my voice acting, all of my improv, all of my corporate training, all of my entertainment, live performance, fucking everything. Right there. You can keep up with me. Drop me a comment below if you like what you're hearing, and thank you so much for listening. I seriously appreciate it. This podcast does not exist without you, so thank you so much. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. Drop me a line. Let me know if I can improve something, or if there's something that you like that you'd like more of. I am doing this for myself, but I'm also doing this for an audience. And since there's so many gracious people listening, I'd love to know if there's any way I can improve it to make your experience better. So I'm going to go get dressed, take a shower, do all that fun shit. I will talk to you soon.